Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We're finishing another week strong here this week on the Cabral Concept. Thanks so much for joining me. As always, I appreciate your support. Today's show is our Friday review, and on our Friday review, we love to say that anything goes. So we'll be doing product reviews today. We'll be doing our herb of the week. I've got two fun research studies. I don't know if they're fun per se, but at least one of them is a future look at what diagnostics may be using just light alone and how this simple cell phone may be able to detect certain viruses. So I'm always impressed with these things because, as I say, it may be, like at most, we're talking about 1 to 2 decades away. We're not talking about 50 years into the future for many of these things. And that's what I'm excited about, because I believe that there is merit to the advancements in clinical-based science and medicine, but also never forgetting the ancient-based wisdom of traditional naturopathy, of bioregulatory medicine, of Ayurvedic medicine, of traditional Chinese medicine, and many more. So if we can combine them all together, well, we have the best of all worlds. So I think that's pretty fantastic. I'll be sharing that with you today. And then I'm also going to be going through a product review. I'll show you the back of the bottle right now. If you're watching this on video, you can tune into, or if you want to watch this on video, you can tune into stephencabral.com/2289 or right on YouTube. We appreciate our growing YouTube family audience. We would love for you to continue to, obviously view the show on a daily basis, but like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Daily videos are coming out for the show. All right, so besides all that, we always start the podcast with what's new, what's been going on in my private practice. And for many of you who are new to the show, that we've been able to transition from a Boston-based functional medicine and integrative health practice to a completely virtual practice over the last couple of years. So we saw over 250,000 client appointments before we made that transition over to a virtual-based practice. So we know what it's really like to work with real people in the real world. Now, our timing was just good. I mean, we obviously didn't know, but we were already virtual in 2019, about a year and a half or so, obviously before lockdowns and the pandemic and all that, where we were able to help people all around the world just through our HIPAA-compliant based practitioner portal. And so I think that's fantastic, because now that is the future. The future is now, right? People are meeting with their doctors and health coaches and practitioners and even personal trainers right on video. I think it's fantastic. I really do. I think it's amazing. And what we've done, and if many of you haven't heard, and that means the whole EquiLife team and even our IHP team for sure, we just launched our new app called Ayubowan by EquiLife. And Ayubowan, I have a whole background on what the meaning of Ayubowan is, but it's a Sri Lankan term. It's typically used as a blessing, and it's really, really nice for a greeting or a goodbye. And it means, may you live a long, healthy life. That's one of the translations of it. So may you be blessed with a long life. That's the literal translation of it. But we like to say, may you be blessed, or may you live a long, healthy life. And that's really what it's all about. So what we set out to do was actually develop what I felt was the exact app that all of our wellness clients would like to use, that I would like to use, that our integrative health practitioners would like to use with their particular clients. And that's what we set out to do. It took about a year, about 9 months to actually create this, and just a little bit more in testing. And I think that we've created what I call the last health, fitness, wellness-based app for overall healthy lifestyle that you'll ever need. And the reason why I feel that way, and by the way, that the app is free for all Ayubowan-based members, and I think that's pretty nice as well, because this would easily be a $79 to $100 plus app. And that's because you're getting free meditations, free binaural beats, free sleep white noise-based sounds. You're getting all of our protocols in one place. You're getting all of your meal planning based on your goals, whether it be wellness, whether it be weight loss, whether it be weight gain, whether it be longevity. We actually customize the whole meal plan for you. We give you a downloadable shopping list. And even for your local area, we share with you the restaurants and actual choices at the restaurant that would enable you to stay on your healthy diet. And then if I think that's pretty fantastic, but if that wasn't enough, it actually can be overridden, that plan, by your practitioner to put you on the CBO protocol. Maybe you're doing a 21-day functional medicine detox. So again, I think sky's the limit with that nutrition part of it. And then your practitioner can actually see all your macros and your micros. That means they can not just see your carbs, protein, and fats, and so can you, by the way, as well, but it will actually show your micronutrients, your vitamins and minerals for the day. And again, like I'm just so impressed by this because this is what I love to geek out over and use myself. But not only that, we give you an entire workout-based program. So you're getting walking, you're getting cardio. You can literally just get your own at-home bike, which I'm going to be talking about over the next couple of weeks, and you can use our spin-based videos. You can use our cycling videos instead of spending thousands of dollars on one of those fancy at-home bikes that you may or may not use. We give you dumbbell workouts. We give you body weight workouts for travel, and every single month we're adding more and more workouts. We've got Tabata workouts in there. In the next month or two, we'll be adding band workouts. We'll be adding kettlebell workouts. We'll be adding yoga. And so much more. So we've even have foam rolling routines in there. So again, sky's the limit. Every single month, this app is going to be growing, living, and breathing the more community members we get in it. We're going to be doing how to do dry brushing, how to maximize sauna, how to maximize cold therapy. Like all these different things will be inside of the app in a very simple and easy to use manner. If you want to see me actually move through the app with how to use the nutrition, where you're going to get the exercise, just go to StephenCabral.com/app. StephenCabral.com, it's Stephen with the PH, StephenCabral.com/app, and you can check it out all there. Again, couldn't be more excited. Already have 4,000 registered users in the first week, and this is just going to continue to grow and grow. And again, I always try to give as much as I can away for free, whatever I can do. And so literally all Ayubowan members get this $100 value a month app completely free. So if you haven't checked out Ayubowan yet and the free labs that you can get every 90 days and so much more, go to StephenCabral.com/Ayubowan. Those are two pages to check out, Ayubowan and the app page, all right? And Ayubowan is AYUBOWAN. All right. The promo for the week this week is 30% off all 9 brand new lab tests. I don't have time today on the show because I don't want to take more of your time going through what all of those 9 labs are, but you're going to be able to get all of the individual labs that come with Ayubowan. Those are free, so you can pick out any one you want every 90 days as an Ayubowan member. But we also have brand new lab tests for fertility, for sleep-based health, for men's wellness, for women's wellness, and so much more. I mean, it's incredible. So we're able to link up labs. We're just not able to link up any nutritional supplements or anything like that. So actually, we should be able to link all of these up because I'm not talking about any supplements today. So the FDA is okay with that. So we'll link them up today, all right? Every link will be at StephenCabral.com/2289. The app, the Ayubowan program, and the new labs. All right. So check it out at StephenCabral.com/2289. Save 30% off those labs. Incredible deal during the first week of their launch this week. All right. Little podcast recap for the week before we get to our product review here, our herb of the week. And the first one on Monday was 2285, episode 2285. That was Find the Bottleneck to Your Problems. Really like that podcast. Again, I'm always kind of working through my own things in my own mind and my own life, and also all the things that I hear in our practice. Tuesday's episode was how 10 minutes of NSDR is helping people rejuvenate. Definitely check out that show, especially if you've never heard of NSDR and how it's reshaping people's nervous systems and rejuvenating their body, taking them out of fight or flight. All right. On Wednesday's show, we went through why poor sleep causes weight gain, why it's not always about calories in, calories out, and it's certainly not as you plateau. And then yesterday's show was a fun case study. I don't know. I enjoy those. So I love labs. I mean, that's what I enjoy the most is reading labs, without a doubt. Like I love to read labs. I will do that, honestly, till the day that I die. I will be reading labs for people and I'll be teaching about labs. It is the number one thing that I enjoy. And I've been doing it now on the Cabral concept, I guess fairly often, at least once or twice a month. And so if you like case studies, well, you can go to stephencabral.com/podcasts, and you can actually see me go through the lab step by step as to what all of these mean. So maybe you're an IHP and you want to learn a little bit more about all these labs, great. But you may also be someone that's just interested in learning what these labs are. And so check it out at, again, you can just go to stephencabral.com/podcast and you'll be able to find all of these shows. All right, let's get into our herb of the week before our product review. So our herb of the week this week is one that most people have not heard about. And that's why I like to go through these Friday reviews and herbs of the week. And that's because I want to teach on things besides like just vitamin C, right? Or vitamin D. This one is called Cramp bark. Now, I always admire the translations of these, or sometimes the indigenous people, the herbs that they gave the name of, because they basically said, listen, we're naming this what it helps with. And so cramp bark, if you're just thinking about it, well, it has great research and it has all phenomenal success stories for a lot of PMS-based symptoms. So women, especially the last week to 2 weeks of their cycle, may have increased cramping, may have increased bloating, digestive issues, may have higher anxiety, lower mood, more prone towards depression, maybe even some acne-based breakout. All of these things are fairly common that we see in our practice, and cramp bark helps with the majority of those. So if I'm looking at the research right now, and again, I'll link up some research links for you. One was interesting. So I never heard cramp bark used for this before, but some people are even using cramp bark for, again, I have to use this in air quotes. And again, I'm not providing any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, medical diagnosis. But there's 2 studies showing that it may help prevent kidney stones. So that's pretty interesting. And it may also help with sleep-based issues, which makes sense to me, especially since many women have sleep-based issues during the last week or 2 weeks of the cycle. And it may help to support cancer-based therapies as well. So pretty fantastic. Again, really great though at overall PMS-based symptoms, cramping, digestive issues. And why, I always look at it as like, why may it work? Well, it seems to work during more of that luteal-based phase when estrogen levels may be normal, but progesterone levels may be on the lower side. And so we use it specifically in that way. So we use it in a product called progesterone support. Now, you don't need to use progesterone support, but I just want you to know that it's available. And it's at 100 milligrams inside of that, which is really nice. So what a lot of women do is they'll take 3 of these at one time, so at one sitting, or they'll take 1 at each meal throughout the day specifically. So what I like to share with you is this, that nature really has given us a lot of the herbs and a lot of the nutrients that we need in order to be able to rebalance on our body. Now, I certainly do recommend looking at why may I be lower in progesterone, because it could be stress-based, there's no doubt about it, inflammatory-based, and much more. So the best lab to run if you ever feel these PMS-based symptoms, you want to run it on day 19, 20, or 21 of your cycle. Or if you don't have a cycle, the day of the highest symptoms. And that could go for anybody. The day of the highest symptoms is when you'd want to run this during that luteal phase, which is the last essentially 2 weeks of a woman's cycle, menstrual cycle. So that's what I would do. It's called the stress, mood, and metabolism test. It'll actually look at your estrogen, progesterone. It'll look at testosterone, cortisol, thyroid, A1C, hemoglobin A1C, and so much more. So it's an invaluable test as an insight into your body. All right, so that's cramp bark. You're welcome to look up more, and I'm certainly going to add all the research between it as a powerful antioxidant, flavonoid, carotenoid, and so much more. All right. So now we'll get to our product review of the week. I love sharing things that I use in my own life and that I've learned something about. So this is a can of olive oil. Let's see if I can get that up to the camera. There we go. And, I am someone that uses a lot of olive oil. So I'm typically using olive oil once or twice a day. And I don't necessarily heat with it, but I certainly, although check out my podcast and we'll link this up for you on why olive oil still may be the best oil or fat to cook with. I didn't believe it myself. I looked through the research. The research is really solid. So we'll link that up today at $22.89. But I've reviewed a lot of olive oils in the past. I really have. But I got this recommendation. This is a single source, Greek olive oil. And it's called I can't even pronounce the name of it. Astarte, Astarti. Someone let us know how you pronounce the name of that. I will certainly link it up today at $22.89. So I've read quite a bit about olive oil. I've tasted a lot of different olive oils. And for the most part, I understand, like, this is what you want to do. You want to look for cold processed. You want to look for cold filtered. Ideally, you want them hand-picked. You want it in a dark jar so that light cannot penetrate it and oxidize the olive oil. You want it not a very big jar because you want to be able to use it over the course of a few weeks, not a few months, because every time you open it, it begins to oxidize. You want that single source, if I haven't already stated that before. And you want it to be extra virgin olive oil. Okay, so these are all the things that we want. When we want it high in polyphenols, which means high in antioxidants. So all of that I've known for quite some time. Again, like I've talked about the benefits of the Mediterranean diet over and over and over. And that's because it's true. But what I didn't realize, again, was there's a couple things. So maybe a couple years ago, I learned about you want to be able to get it on a single estate. I mentioned that, but you also want the early harvest, right? So an early harvest is going to provide then more of those powerful antioxidants. And so then I started looking at antioxidant-based levels, which was I thought pretty powerful, right? Because one of the reasons you want is a anti-inflammatory and high antioxidant diet. But what I learned that was new was that there's an acidity to olive oil, which is very interesting. And the acidity goes from, if my memory serves me correct, 0.8, 0.5, and 0.3. So it actually has to do with the quality of the olive oil as well. Let me see if I can actually pull that direct quote. Okay, this is the direct quote. So a good acidity for an olive oil. So simply stated, a low level of free fatty acids is an indicator of better olive oil. So an acidity level of 0.8% is average, 0.5% is good, and 0.3% is considered the highest quality. That is something that was new to me. I love learning new things. I had never heard of the specific acidity of an olive oil because almost no one ever states it. And they probably don't state it because it's probably a 0.8, right? And which is what they're looking at for a minimum. So this olive oil is the first one that I've seen that's independently tested for 3x the amount of antioxidants in it. So 3 times the amount of polyphenols as your typical extra virgin olive oil, and it has an acidity rate of 0.3. So you might say, okay, all of that's fine and good. This is a really healthy olive oil, but how does it taste? Because sometimes if it has a lot of polyphenols, it'll kind of bite you at the back of the throat. It'll kind of burn a little bit. That's not necessarily a bad thing. That's an indicator of the actual antioxidant potential in it. This one, though, I have to say to you is this. So some people will enjoy it. They'll like it a lot. Some people will just be like, oh, it's fine, because it's a very mild taste. This is a very mild tasting olive oil. So one of the reasons this might be a benefit is that you may be able to easily give it to your kids, because there's none of that little spice and a little bit of bite at the back of your throat. So this might be a really nice one that you use for the whole family. And I'm using it myself as well. I actually like more of a nutty olive oil taste. This one's milder than I typically like. However, I'm more into health. So for me, I could absolutely see myself using this once a day, and then I may use another olive oil, which has a little bit more of a flavor to it once a day. So again, this is a great flavor. I'm not saying anything bad about the flavor. It's nice, but it's very, very mild. And so for people who don't necessarily like the taste of olive oil, you'll barely taste this one, and you'll be able to get all the health benefits. I have no affiliation with this company, but it's a great product, and I like to promote great products and healthy products to our community, and that includes you. All right. I'll link this up here today. Of course, it's organic as well. And I'll link that up at $22.89. All right, let's get on to our research. We have 2 research studies for you. And the first one I loved to see. Now, This was, this goes back a while. So Weston Price, many people have read his famous book as well on nutrition and disease. But there was one group of people that were studied, and it was and I don't know how, again, like people pronounce it different ways. So again, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing, but it's either Inuit or Inuit. And Arctic Inuit people, this study was done over 2,600 people from northern Greenland, I believe. And it looked at a specific gene that some people have that makes them more prone to type 2 diabetes. This is more of the kapha body type or endomorph body type, where their bodies, they're just more prone to higher levels of blood sugar. And the interesting thing is this, so this is super interesting, that all they had the people in this study do, again, control versus what they had them do was 1 hour of exercise. 1 hour of daily exercise. And they didn't have them do boot camps or Tabatas or spin classes. They had them hike with normal hiking gear or hunting gear, they called it. And that was it. They didn't have to go hunting. They just had to put on like a pack, put on their clothes, their boots, and just hike for 1 hour a day. And 1 hour a day was able to override these faulty genes. So again, all these people talking about their genetics, and it's not people, it's all these experts saying you have to do this for your genetics, that you got to take this. No. Listen, your genetics are controlled by the de-stress protocol. Diet, exercise, stress reduction, tox removal, rest, emotional balance, stress reduction, which I missed in there, scientifically backed supplements, and a success mindset. That success mindset, that positivity is which allows a lot of these 100-plus-year-old people to live that long. So again, 1 hour of moderate exercise a day can help to control blood sugar, not just for the Inuit, but for people, again, who are more prone to that kapha body type, which is, again, nothing wrong with that. You just need to move that body 1 hour a day, all right? 1 hour a day, you can do it. All right, the next one, this is super interesting. It's called, and I'll link up both these studies for you, Nano-Flashlights could allow future cell phones to detect viruses and more. So I was listening to, and this is interesting, I was listening to a Lex Friedman podcast where he had a neuroscientist on that is up for the Nobel Prize that can control a part of a mouse's brain through light. So they can control over 200 cells, I believe, in this mouse to actually make it believe that it saw something that wasn't necessarily there, which is pretty wild, right? I mean, because you think about it like, well, I always extrapolate that and be like, how far away is that from humans? Like how far away from using a light shined into the brain through the skull, right? Because light can penetrate. That would then, cause a human to think something. It's interesting. Now, that could be used for good, 100%, or obviously it could be used for negative. Anyway, that wasn't the point of the study. But now they're using, again, a lot of these things called photobiology, I believe, and study of light, I guess. And the interesting thing is that they're using flashlights to detect signatures or basically fingerprints of viruses. That means every virus essentially has its own fingerprint, right? Just like a human, it's unique for the virus. So they can do it in a lab, but in the future, you may be able to use your cell phone, flashlight, and camera to then read and scan, maybe it's saliva, maybe it's, I don't know what it might be, but able to detect what virus you may have with your own camera that automatically spits back the data just through AI because it's basically reading all the different signatures that it has. And it may alert the CDC. It'll alert you. Maybe it'll alert your doctor as to, okay, you have this particular strain of virus. I find this stuff very fascinating. I always hope that it's used for good. But I really think, again, we're like 10 to 20 years away. 10 on the early side, 20 years probably more likely. But it's pretty fascinating. And that's why I just keep saying to people, keep yourself healthy. Keep yourself healthy now, because if you do, and you can, the life expectancy is going to go up. It's going to go way up. It really is. We're going to keep people alive longer through scientific-based advances. But believe it or not, if you can be naturally healthy and you can then use scientific advances if you ever need them, well, sky's the limit, right? Well, maybe not sky's the limit, but we can certainly then start to regularly live 100 years and beyond. I think that can be pretty fantastic for people that are living and loving life. And that's really hopefully what we can all strive for. So that is today's show. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow answering our community's questions on the house calls. Have an amazing weekend. I'll talk with you soon. I want to sincerely thank you for your support of this podcast. I couldn't do it without you, and I mean that. I truly do. I also want to make sure you knew that we now have multiple ways for you to find your answers to the most difficult health, wellness, weight loss, and anti-aging questions. You can find podcast-specific topics like thyroid, adrenal, hormones, sleep, digestion, Ayurveda, and many more at stevencabral.com/podcasts that will then link you to your favorite Apple, Spotify, and other podcast players. Plus, all new podcasts and weekly exclusive video content is being added to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Stephen Cabral. And that's Stephen with a PH. Head on over and subscribe so that you don't miss any of the exclusive content. Lastly, if you've ever found any of my podcasts or books to be helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a review on iTunes or your favorite media player for the podcast. Rating and subscribing to the YouTube and podcast allow me to reach more and more people and help spread my mission of healing throughout the world. Thank you again for being a part of this movement.